Today I was wearing the Golden Eagle Jeep shirt, so it seems right to talk about Blake's 392. So we built this 392 about 3 months ago, maybe 2 months ago. He's had it over that time, wheeled it a little bit, drove it a couple thousand miles, and it's back today for a quick nut and bolt inspection, and then we're going to do the 1,000-mile diff service in the rear Dana 80 that we're doing at 2,000 to 3,000 miles. You know how that goes. So first off, this is an early year 392. This is a 2021. Underneath you can see that it has a cast iron oil pan. Sorry, take that back. Cast aluminum oil pan, which a lot of guys didn't like because if you were out four-wheeling and you took a hit on that thing, it could shatter. No need to worry about it now because we have the Motobilt skid plates, but that's how you kind of designate that it's an early 21. And then one other little tidbit too is on the rear tailgate, the badging here just says Jeep JL. It doesn't say 392 and it's not gold. So one of the very first 392s out. While we are here at the back of the Jeep, we can kind of start at some of the inside stuff. We went ahead and did a black basket, powder coat it for them, and it's not in there today. So this is a good example. You can see the brackets on each side. This is what it looks like if you take your basket out with the plastic little knobs, like you have to load something tall or big in it. The brackets stay on, the roll cage don't really affect anything. His cargo basket came out. He's been hauling the kids' stuff around. It'll just go right back in easy. So went to show you and it's not in there, but it does show it comes in and out easy. On the back of the Jeep has our ice chest rack in black, and we sell the spacers for this rack that allow you to keep the factory tailgate hinge reinforcement on the Jeep. There's this option to have the tailgate reinforcement. So camera here, third brake light, and we even put the little gold behind the WFO to go with the 392 theme. And of course the gray Yeti to match the gray Jeep. You know, everything's got to go together, right? The locking straps that we sell for our ice chest racks so the high school kids don't steal it. On the back, Motobilt rear bumper with Baja Design Squadron Pros, nice high and tight, and all the backup sensors still in the bumper, so still operating properly. While we're down here low, let's look at the big dog. So that right there is a Dynatrac Pro Rock 80 with 4-inch half-wall axle tubes. That is the big bad boy, 72.5 inches wide. Not going to run into any issues with this. Electric lockers front and rear, 513 gears. One of the other things you can see is, check this out right here, our ADS shock package on this one. So 2.5-inch ADS shocks with adjustable compression clickers on there in the back of this 392, and it has our chromoly uniball style rear track bar there tucked in the back. The interesting thing we didn't even notice is here we're looking at stuff back here and we can see it all. There's no muffler here. The reason there's no muffler is if you could maybe come from this side and see, that is a 3.5-inch single stainless steel exhaust going up to underneath the skid plate, a 4-inch Borla muffler. It's kind of a signature series exhaust that we build here in-house, and it's high and tight and nothing hanging down or hanging out the back of the Jeep. It does eliminate the push button on the dash to make it quiet, but it's very tasteful. It's not too noisy when it's idling and driving, and sounds great when you're on the gas. As you look back here, these are the Motobilt Highline fenders. So they are a little extra higher up and only about 3 inches wide here sticking out. So with the 72.5-inch wide axles and the thin Motobilt fenders, we realized we need to kind of tuck the tires back in. So these are the Battleborn factory gold color with the black ring, and they are 17x9 with 5 inches of back spacing. So instead of 4.5, it tucks it back in that extra 1/2 inch and makes the tires not be stupid and obnoxious sticking out. While you're right here, you can see the knob for the ADS shocks, pretty easy to get to. And then the Motobilt inner fenders as well in the back of this thing. As you move your way forward, once again, family vehicle, Rockslide engineering steps, electric open and close, and they have the outer shell on them for rock protection. You get underneath here, you see our WFO long arm, rear links, rigid rock lights right here, and then one under the front and one under the back. These skid plates, big beefy skid plates. These are the Motobilt skid plates all the way from front to rear. They are steel. We've powder coated them the same color as our long arm kit and our track bars, so everything's kind of cohesive. That's called Speedway Black. And you can't really see it underneath there, but to complement the Dana 80, it's got a 1410 yoke on it. We went with a 1410 CV in the rear, 1350 CV in the front. And I actually did kind of misspeak there. Dynatrac sends the Pro Rock 80s with a 1410 yoke on them, but with the gas tank and all the skids, the yoke comes very close to interfering with the skid plates. So what we did on this one is put a 1350 yoke at the pinion on the Dana 80, kept the 1410 CV and drive shaft, and the 1350 U-joint is about a ½ inch narrower than the 1410 U-joint, so it keeps that from rubbing on the skid plate. Just like a little detail that helps you finish these things out great. When you look inside here, there is absolutely nothing changed from stock inside. The electric lockers are hooked up to the factory locker switches, and one of the auxiliary switches is the rock lights. The other auxiliary switch is the air compressor, I believe. So nothing going on in there. Work our way up to the front here, and once again, the high Motobilt fenders, and the inner fenders are actually a little bit different to go with this as well. So these are the Motobilt high clearance inner fenders. Now on a 392, you have the windshield wiper bottle that's back here in this area in the fender. So we use Motobilt's new bottle that relocates it smaller and allows you to have this extra space so the tires don't rub when you're flexing. So high clearance fender and a high clearance inner fender. Once again, you can see right here our long arm suspension, the ADS shocks, 2.5s with clickers, easy to reach. Nothing else super fancy there. This is our WFO track bar brace that keeps you from breaking the track bar off the frame. So in the front, we are running 4.5 inch tall coils to make up for the 392 engine, the extra weight. In the rear, 3.5 inch coils. Up front, you got the Dynatrac 80 in the rear, and on the front, this is the XD60 front and 72.5 inch wide version of it. So it's tucked in there pretty good. As you can see, RCV axle shafts. It has the steering that comes from Dynatrac on here, which I believe is Yeti. And then if you look right tucked up in there, you can just see the PSC ram protected by a skid plate that came from Dynatrac with the axle package. Once again, 72.5 inches wide, our track bar tucked up in there. And if you look right above the differential, there's not a lot of space for the track bar and the differential. So we're getting maximum up travel with that chromoly uniball up at the top so that the big differentials swing up and miss it. As you look at the front, Motobilt front bumper. These are the SAE Baja Designs front lights, and these are hooked up to his factory fog lights. This is kind of cool too. This is the new Xeon XD 10,000S winch. Little knock up from the regular 10,000. Factor 55 Fairlead and Factor 55 Ultra Hook. Underneath the hood, nothing special, just running the PSC full Hydro Assist setup. So you'll have the reservoir with filter, and then here's the reservoir, filter inside, and then also we have removed the electronic pump. One of the things, just want to explain to you guys here, when you're putting a PSC system in these, if you look in there, you can just see the bolt sticking out of the fluid or the fluid level right at the top of that bolt that's in there. So that bolt ends up being about 3 inches down in the reservoir. It's very common for people to overfill these. So basically you just want to fill it right so that bolt is underwater or the filter is underwater. because as it gets hot, it expands. And this is a sealed system now. So you'll pressurize the system, you'll blow hoses, you'll have problems. Do not overfill your PSC. Other than that, everything's kind of normal underneath the hood here. There is one detail that Chris did on this one that's I think is really cool, is the power steering cooler is in the grill, right? You can't even see it, but if you look real close, we painted PSC's power steering cooler black so that it just kind of mixes in with everything, you know, underneath the front grill. Other than that, I mean, it's just about everything on this Jeep. I don't really know if I missed some stuff. One more thing I forgot is the air compressor. So right underneath the seat here is the ARB dual air compressor, and there's the chuck, and there's the switch is actually right there to turn it on. So we didn't hook it to the auxiliary switch. We kept it completely separate. So there's your onboard air for filling up your tires. 392 Motobilt skid plates, 4.5-inch springs in the rear, 4.5 in the front, 3.5 in the rear, ADS shocks with clickers, Battleborn Kilo wheels, 17x9 with 5-inch back spacing, 40-inch Nitto trail grapplers, of course, PSC Hydro Assist steering, just standard bumps on this thing, no air bumps, and of course our Borla 3.5-inch in-house built single exhaust, totally tucked up, high clearance, and out of the way. So this is the ultimate family rig. He throws the kids in the back, takes them to school, the wife drives it, and guess what? This summer he will be beating it down on the Rubicon. Mark my words. So Blake, pleasure building your Jeep. I hope everybody likes it. And another 392.